Finished. Leicester City 0, Arsenal 1. We're going now to the rugby in the company of Matt Dawson, Tom Shanklin and Chris Jones.
Thanks very much, Ian. Big win for Arsenal, that in their title tilt. Can Manchester City respond? Second half commentary from the Vitality coming up. But here in Cardiff, 8 minutes on the clock, England 0, Wales 0. And Matt Dawson and Tom Shanklin, lots of ball in play time. A bit of a less cagey start than many of us expected.
Yeah, certainly England have had their lion's share of that possession, going through phases. Time after time we're seeing Genge, George, Willis, Chisholm trucking the ball up. I wouldn't say there's been an open opportunity for England to score a try quite yet, but they look like they're going through the motions pretty well.
Yeah, not yet. There was a charge down, wasn't there, early on from England on Owen Farrell. Taulupe Faletau nearly regathered the ball. But there's been turnovers to Wales, 2 turnovers to Wales when England have been in their 22. One from Thomas Williams, one from Taulupe Faletau again. So England not really been able to get too much momentum at the moment.
England win a penalty at the breakdown. Owen Farrell from a long way out is lining up a shot at goal for the game's first points. But let's go to full time at Ellen Road. Have Leeds hung on, Maz Faruqi?
They have. The new manager bounces alive and well. Leeds had their first league win since November the 5th. 1-0 they've beaten Southampton. Junior Firpo cool as a cucumber in the 77th minute. Leeds are out of the bottom 3.
Nice one, Maz. Farrell then. What's this, 45 metres or so? It's bang in front, just to the left of the sponsor's logo, but probably at the upper edge of Owen Farrell's range. Matt Dawson, we were talking before the game, you wanted to see England build a score, take this crowd out of it. What emotions are going through the Welsh players after the week they've had on the brink of strike action, which could have curtailed the whole thing. But it's happening, it's on, it's a full house, beautiful blue sky above the Principality Stadium, the roof open as Owen Farrell lamps it towards the post, looking for the game's first points. Nicely done, Owen Farrell. That's a lovely start from the England skipper.
Yeah, crucial start for England with all of that possession, all of that territory, all of the phases. Kick it from 45 out, get close, get a drop goal, make it 6, build the score and quieten the crowd, which they have done already.
3-0 to England. West Ham in dreamland today, John Southall.
Absolutely. West Ham 4, Forest 0, 3 goals in 8 second half minutes sealed the deal for West Ham. The catalyst Danny Ings with his first goals for the club, both in Danny Ings territory, the 6-yard box. It's what they've been missing. Antonio added the 4th and Forest simply fell apart in the final 20 minutes. West Ham 4, Forest 0.
Thanks, John. England setting up a box kick, so let's go to Goodison Park and Will Perry.
Villa 2, Sean Dyche ruining missed chances. Mope and Onana should have scored in the first half before Gay gave away a penalty. Watkins stuck it high down the middle past Pickford, who was beaten again when Buendia powered past him from a tight angle. Everton back in the relegation zone. Everton 0, Villa 2.
So you're up to date with all the Premier League 3 o'clocks. Everton 0, Villa 2, as we're hearing from Will. Leeds 1, Southampton 0, Leicester 0, Arsenal 1 on commentary, and West Ham thumping Forest 4-0. England couldn't claim it cleanly in the backfield, but then Freddie Stewart does put his boot through it. Now Lee Halfpenny kicks it from his own 22 up to England's 22. Max Malin's on the right wing for England. He replies, and this is more what we expected, the kicking battle. Lots of ball in the hand early on, but now both sides are going to the boot. Who's going to counter-attack though and look for an opportunity? Farrell, is that a chance at 50-22? Maybe, but across has gone Owen Williams, starting for the first time at fly half at the age of 30 as the kicking battle continues, Tom Shanklin, and it's that question of how Wales are going to deal after the week they've had. The first 5-10 minutes should give us a real insight.
It has been good. You know, they've started pretty positively. When you look back at Ireland, you know, a few weeks ago they started really bad and they conceded a lot of points early on, so it's not too bad at the moment from Wales. They're in this kicking duel at the moment, and Warren Gatland spoke about it this week about not buckling, not being the first to break, just playing low risk rugby, and they are at the moment.
Part of the reason you'd imagine why Lee Halfpenny is back for his 98th cap, the 34-year-old veteran, but very adept defensively at fullback, as is Freddie Stewart, with Thomas Williams kicking towards Stewart, who's coming forward, but declines to go and take it, and it ends up with Lewis Rees-Zammit taking it and picking the pocket of Anthony Watson. Wales ball, halfway line. Ken Owens round the back. Owen Williams to the big man Mason Grady on debut, just 20 but beats a tackle and shows a lovely touch to find Adams on halfway. Josh Adams kicks, looks for space. This one's going to run dead. Will it run all the way dead? No. Stuart Dotted down, goal line dropout.
Lovely couple of touches early on from Mason Grady. He looks so big and powerful. He just bursts through when he's going laterally. Henry Slade, he had a really good read defensively as well. The kid's only 20 years old, but he's built like he's 35.
The proverbial,
yes.
Yeah. He absolutely is. He's the size of a second row, and can move. Lovely little shift off his right foot to get round Ollie Chesham and put the kick through. England looking a little bit tired in the legs there because they've been going through the phases. Now they've got to defend the set.
Jack Willis is over that ball looking for the turnover. He's got it. He's one of the best in the business at the breakdown, Jack Willis, and slaps on the back from England, who win the penalty. 13 minutes gone. Wales 0, England 3, and a chance for Farrell to take England back into Welsh territory.
This is the biggest worry with Wales, is the penalty count's been really high both games so far against Ireland and Scotland, and it just allows teams off the hook when you put in and applying pressure to them. You know, they've given 2 penalties away so far. They've got to try and clean it up to try and stay in this.
Yeah, that's golden territory for possession for Wales there. Long kick, truck it up, get into the pattern that, you know, they've probably not been practicing as much as England this week, but it would have been nice for Wales just to go through their rhythm, and now they find themselves sort of 40 metres out from their own line, knowing that England are going to go through 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 phases. It's a big defensive effort coming.
Well, we couldn't be better placed, could we, to watch this line out. We're in the top tier, halfway line. Jamie George throws directly below us. England with good line-up ball. Farrell, nice ball. Don Brandt, Ollie Lawrence, gain line cross. That's better for England. Can they get quick ball? They come in waves now. Farrell, Malin, Slade, lovely hands. Anthony Watson tries to burn his man. Well tackled by Wales, but still there for England, who edge up towards the 22 through Genge. Decent bust from the vice captain. England go into the Wales 22. Sinclair is the decoy. Now Ollie Chesham, but the decoy was actually an infringer, and he's obstructed there, Carl Sinclair, and a very promising England attack has ended up with a penalty to Wales, Tom.
Look, really good attack, really slick. You had Ollie Lawrence just bursting through the middle there, but just that ball then off the breakdown was just momentarily delayed, and Carl Sinclair overran the ball. Wasn't quite sharp. England were looking for quick ball inside Wales's 22, but it didn't come out cleanly. Carl Sinclair mistimed his run. It was a penalty.
His eyes were wide open there, Carl Sinclair, and he could see the gaps around the fringes. There is a lot of weight creating a lot of momentum when he starts moving those legs and trucking it up, and he just couldn't stop. Jack Van Poortvliet couldn't get the ball quick enough up and away into his gut. But that was nice and pacey from England. It was direct. It was cute feet from Ellis Genge. Pieced together nicely.
Fascinating start to this game. Don Brandt knocks on from the overthrown line out. And England already, Lawrence with a knock on earlier. Don Brandt, needless errors from England there. And Wales have kicked it to Stewart, who replies towards Thomas Williams, who scampers in the backfield in his own 22, in between the 10 and the 15 in from touch. His kick is taken in by Anthony Watson, the left winger, who switched wings to the right temporarily. Sends up at Gary Owen. There's lovely blue sky above the Principality Stadium. Halfpenny sacked by Watson just outside the 22. 16 on the clock. 3-0 England. Chinza, he's got pace, but then he loses the ball. And errors creeping into both sides. It will be an England scrum. What are they, 40-odd metres from the Welsh line?
Just a moment there. Really good take from Lee Halfpenny. It was a decent kick by Anthony Watson, and Halfpenny gets absolutely nailed in the tackle. But as Wales are realigning the space down the left-hand side, Tashunza gets it, and he's trying to burst through the tackle. He's trying to burst between Maro Itoje and Max Malins, but he can see he wants to offload the ball, but loses it in contact.
Yeah, Maro Itoje slaps it out of his hands there. I never think they're knock-ons. I think Maro Itoje slapped the ball directly out of Tashunza's hands there, and that should be play on for me in the tackle. Big difference there in the way that Wales attack opposed to England, where Wales were heads up rugby. They saw the weakness down the left from a midfield ruck, they attacked it, there was a sniff of overlap, whereas England are going through their set phases, and a couple of times they've had a sniff of an overlap but have chosen to go back to where their numbers are, and you feel that it is going to be that tight game, and the team who make those tough decisions, those real big calls, are going to win it.
Scrum just below us, 40 metres out for England. Van Poortvliet, Farrell, nice inside ball to Max Malins. Malins, was he pulled back? Ollie Lawrence as he tried to get it, but England have numbers to the left, they can walk it in. Farrell, Alex Dombrandt over to the far side. Anthony Watson with the game's first try. Beautifully finished by England. Lovely set move from the scrum. And it's Anthony Watson, his first start for England in almost 2 years, who scored in the left corner.
Yeah, well, there's no excuses now to hear from the England management about we're piecing together, we're learning. You know, no chat about forward domination. That was a team try with pace, with precision, the accuracy in the back move, the lines of running, the lovely deft hands from Malins given to Lawrence, even when he was probably impeded before he got the ball. Quick, fast ruck, and it was 4 on 1.5 really. Dombrandt to Watson, who still had to finish and dived in the corner acrobatically to score. But I'm saying that is probably the first England team try that we've seen for quite a while.
Yeah, crafted a nice one against Scotland, the Malins second, but completely right, Matt Dawson, we haven't seen much of that from England over the past couple of years really, but it's a lovely try. How well Tom Shanklin did. Ollie Lawrence too, he kind of juggled with it like he was in the gully, but kept hold of the ball. Watson in the corner.
Yeah, well, the scrum was on the right hand side inside the 22, and there's some really nice decoys, but the ball went behind the decoys to Owen Farrell, who put it inside to Max Malins, and Ollie Lawrence ran a really good support line, and Malins delivered the ball exactly at the perfect time. It looked like Ollie Lawrence might have got impeded because he sort of started to fall down before he caught the ball, but it was the speed of ball from that breakdown then, and you could probably pick 3 or 4 England players to have scored that try.
Well, Farrell couldn't convert, but England have a healthy lead, and this, Matt Dawson, is exactly what Steve Borthwick would have wanted. Early points on the board and take this passionate crowd out of the game as soon as possible.
You can feel it. Yeah. You can feel the atmosphere is now rather, and you know, the Welsh team need the fans to get behind them, but you know the fans are thinking, oh well, we thought this was going to happen, the boys are going to be tired, mentally they're going to be out of it. The crowd have got to get right behind Wales quickly. Here we go.
Well, that's a penalty to Wales as England go off their feet from the restart. And what do you do here, Tom Shanklin? Do you get something on the board, or do you go for the corner?
You go for something on the board. It's well within kicking range. It's inside the 15-metre line, so you have to go for points. You have to come back at England, who are now 8 points ahead. You know, this is golden for Wales. This is easy. You know, poor mistake from England sealing the ball off, but gives Wales a really good opportunity to get 3 points on the board and try and calm this team down, because the last sort of 15 minutes has all been England.
Yeah, if you're an England coach there, you're probably not going to show it because there's TV cameras all over you, but you're going to be fuming. Really sloppy restart, easy take, cheap penalty to give away on your own 22 because you're not disciplined in that ruck. Yeah, these are the little margins. You know, dare I say it, Ireland don't make that mistake. You know, that France don't make that mistake. At the moment, they're very, very disciplined when it comes to just the little edges.
Pushed hard in Rome, Ireland, but they are on course for the slam still, winning 34 points to 20 over, I was going to say spiritedly, but even better than that, a spirited and skillful Italy. But Ireland with enough, and Lee Halfpenny's got enough there to put Wales on the board. Wales 3, England 8 in Cardiff.
Hugely important 3 points there for Wales, and Lee Halfpenny so reliable with the boot, just calming down this Welsh team. Now they've got 3 points on the board. Now the important thing is just to secure this kickoff. It's huge. You know, make sure you're disciplined, make sure you don't overplay it. 2 or 3 phases and you relieve pressure.
Farrell's restart taken in by Joe Hawkins, 4th cap, just 20 years of age, the Osprey. And Thomas Williams of Cardiff plays his rugby.
Taking back in the 22.
Just next door at the Arms Park. He looks to clear, Chesham all over him, but he got his kick away. Through comes Freddie Stewart, who takes it on the 10-metre line. Remember earlier we were hearing from Ian Dennis and Danny Gavin. Big win for Arsenal, 1-0 at the King Power. They're 5 clear. Will be at Manchester City against Manchester City's match at Bournemouth after the conclusion of this one, which is 22 minutes old, as Farrell goes out on the full and Wales rub the line out. So Arsenal winning 1-0 at Leicester, Bournemouth City to come.
5 metres inside.
And in the EFL, how well are Burnley doing? 12 points clear at the top of the championship. 4-0 they beat Huddersfield. Second place Sheffield United, 1-0 winners over Watford. At the bottom, Wigan, Blackpool, Huddersfield all lost. Sheffield Wednesday in League One lead the way. They won 1-0 at Cardiff. Plymouth 3 points behind as they were beating 5-2 at Peterborough. And in League Two, Leyton Orient drew 2-2 at Grimsby, but they stay 13 points clear du Orient. Wales through Thomas Williams, 23 minutes gone. Wales 3, England 8. Anthony Watson's try, a penalty apiece for Farrell and Halfpenny. And Louis Rees-Zammit is up to tackle Anthony Watson, who scored his 23rd England try in his 53rd cap. What a strike rate that is from the Leicester Tiger.
Run!
And England, Matt Dawson left the scrum after a bit of a lull in play. Nothing doing from the restart England scrum.
Yeah, a little bit messy there, but the right call from the referee just to give the scrum to England, even though it looked like it was a maul. The ball was on the deck, it was collapsed, players in the wrong area, not their own fault. It's been an enthralling 24 minutes, one of those games that's just flown by. I suppose the anticipation has been mirrored by the crowd, has been mirrored by the anticipation of the game with the players. It has been relatively well disciplined, it's been pretty accurate and quite obvious how both teams want to play.
It's just the line-out issue still. There's been one overthrow and then the delivery off that line-out from Faletau to Shunza. That's where the breakdown came. It was dropped, it went backwards, but it just put Wales on the back foot and forced Thomas Williams to kick. Got to nail these line-outs.
England feed at the scrum. Gareth Thomas, Ken Owens, Thomas Francis, the Wales front row. England, Ellis Genge, Jamie George, Carl Sinclair. Wales have Adam Beard, Alan Wyn-Jones, Chris Shinza, Justin Tipuric and Talipi Faletau making up the rest of their pack. England have Maro Itoje, Ollie Chessum in the second row, Lewis Ludlam, Jack Willis, Alex Dombrey in the back row. Let's do the back lines while we can. Thomas Williams and Owen Williams, 9 and 10 for Wales. Joe Hawkins and Mason Grady, the rookies in the centre. Louis Rees-Zammit, Josh Adams and Lee Halfpenny, the all British and Irish Lions back three. England are Jack Van Portfleet, Owen Farrell, 9-10. Ollie Lawrence and Henry Slade in the midfield. Anthony Watson, the try scorer, Max Malins and Freddie Stewart in the back three. And this scrum, a real area of interest, Matt Dawson, for England and their new management, desperate to get the fundamentals right and build from there.
And here we're going to see whether those fundamentals are right. Pressure scrum for England, 20-30 metres out, holding it at the base, probably looking to see if there's a creek. No chance.
Solid enough scrum from both sides. So Jack Van Portfleet asks Ollie Lawrence to truck it up, and the Bath man obliges. Back to the languid figure of Henry Slade, who boots it into the Cardiff air. Well taken by Lee Halfpenny, who scampered off on a run and made a pretty easy 12-15 metres or so. Wales in English territory. Talipi Faletau at number 8, offloads to Owen Williams. Here's Joe Hawkins on a short ball, 10-metre line. Jack Willis is on that again, but he's not won the penalty. Instead he's given it away, and Thomas Williams has gone quickly. Mazy run from the Cardiff man. Beautifully done, Thomas Williams, up to the 22. He had Ken Owens in support. Wales trail by 5 on 5 live and BBC Sounds, but they have possession and territory. Big hit, Maro Itoje on Alan Wyn-Jones. They've locked up together for the Lions. Now their adversaries in this great fixture. Just short of the 22 for Thomas Williams, the scrum half. Now the Welsh forwards drive it on. Loose to Gareth Thomas. Now Justin Tipuric with that trademark footwork. England's defence done pretty well though to force Wales back. So Williams finds Halfpenny, and that's a decent defensive set from England, Matt Dawson, as Wales go through the phases in the middle of the park.
Yeah, well, unless you'll see now a big, there we go. I was going to say an aggressive defence from Ollie Chessum, and that's where that sort of pack mentality from England, they go and challenge that. If it's a passive tackle from England, they put nobody in the tackle area and they just fan across the field. but just on that occasion you saw Ollie Chesham just caught Wales stationary, you know, and all of a sudden, as I say, there's that mentality of there's our opportunity, Tom Shankland, isn't it? That
couple of predictable
that
runs.
well.
It was a couple of predictable runs. One by Alan Wynne-Jones, who got just hammered back, and then Tushunza again gets tackled really well. With an aggressive tackle like that, you're just on the back foot, and it just allows teams to either try and pinch the ball, or you end up sealing the ball off.
It's good decision making, really, isn't it? I mean, I know a lot of the times we say decision making is ball in hand, whereas actually the decision making they're making in defence is just as important.
But as much as we want to see high tempo rugby, this game isn't going to be like that. It's going to be a close game. And Thomas Williams tapping and going there when 3 points are on the board, you probably just, Ken Owens might be having a little word with him saying, look, just calm down, let's build a score.
Grand Slam winners, World Cup winners with us in commentary on 5 Live and Sounds. Tom Shanklin in the red corner, Matt Dawson in the white. England had a good set piece opportunity after winning that penalty, but Alan Wynne-Jones got up to beat Maro Itoje to the punch, a feather in the cap for the veteran as Wales clear their line. So England wasting field position there, and now Max Malin's just short of the halfway line. Wales come pouring through, looking to force a turnover, but Itoje has come away with the ball. He looks up for it today, Itoje, perhaps smarting after losing that line out. England will now shape to kick. Almost half an hour gone, it's flown by in Cardiff. Wales 3, England 8. Good kick, Van Poortvliet. Thomas Williams against Max Malins. The ball is very loose, but it was knocked forward by Malins. So we will have a scrum unless Wales want to play from their own half, which is unlikely, but it's just the scrum advantage, in which case the advantage will be over fairly soon. Yeah, and there's the cue from Matty Renal saying the advantage is over, so we play on as Thomas Williams kicks. Through comes Freddie Stewart, who commands the Cardiff air. Beautifully done from the Leicester man, Freddie Stewart, just 22, but already winning his 20th cap today. England with possession, 15 metres in, now in centre field on the halfway line. Farrell to Malins, who's having a good game, Max Malins, making stuff happen, but he might have been isolated here. He's knocked it on, and Wales have turned it over. Thomas Francis out to Owen Williams. Are there numbers here for Wales, Tom Shanklin, as Lewis Rees-Zammit steps inside?
Just when you thought there was numbers, England managed to find that defensive line. Joe Hawkins tried to throw the ball from left to right to get in Lewis Rees-Zammit's hands early, but England were able to drift off, but they're coming back for the original knock-on.
This is out of pace, this game. There's a lot of the players, I know they've had that fallow week, haven't they, so maybe not the match sharpness or the international match sharpness, but there are a lot of hands on hips, a lot of hands on knees, hands on head, just sucking in the oxygen.
It's physical, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's some big hits going on. I think Wales just have to be careful. There's a couple of times the inside ball has just frightened them. One for the first try off the set piece of a right-hand scrum to Max Malins. Then he nearly goes through again. But Chris Tushunza just manages to catch him, but it put England on the front foot.
Well, what a day of Six Nations rugby already. A cracker in Rome, and what a game it'll be tomorrow in Paris, France, against unbeaten Scotland. Rugby special with Hugo and the team at 6 on BBC TV. We're then live on 5 Live with the Rugby Union Daily live at 8 o'clock, and the Rugby Union Daily will be out later on as we react to this game, and then first thing Monday morning as well, wrapping up another brilliant weekend of Six Nations rugby. England are winning this physical battle here in Cardiff on the gain line, and now in the scrum they win a scrum penalty, and absolutely no doubt, I'm sure in your mind, Matt Dawson, 3 points all day long.
Yeah, all day long. It looked like England are in the mood to build that score. Francis there getting a little bit of a telling off from the official, even though Wales looked like they had a bit of control. I think there was just a step back from Francis to relieve some of the pressure right in front of the referee, potentially. Oh, I mean, that's a tight call. Elbows going down from Ellis Genge often is an indicator.
Referee's telling Thomas Francis he's got to scrum higher, so he's getting too low, and that's why the scrum went down. But it's a penalty and a kicking position just inside Wales' 40-metre line. You'd expect Farrell to get this.
And then suddenly, does it become a bit of an uphill task already? We know Wales' preparation on and off the field has been ropey for this one.
Yeah, it does. Then you start to think about, right, we might have to score a try, and it changes the outlook of a game when you want to try and keep the scoreboard ticking over, you start thinking about, we might have to go to the corner, we might have to start playing a little bit more, maybe overplaying. It changes the mindset completely.
A hum of anticipation around this great rugby amphitheatre. Owen Farrell has been here many times. He's won, he's lost, he's had good days, he's had bad days. He was instrumental in that last gasp Elliot Daly try in 2017, the last time England won here in Cardiff, and he can't add the 3 there. That would have been a vital extra 3 points for England to take it out to 11-3 and therefore 2 scores, but it stays at 8-3. You've got to be nailing those, Matt Dawson.
Yeah, he's going to be disappointed. That's I say bread and butter. It's out of what they call the red zone, where the expectancy is in the sort of 90%. He's just keeping an eye on him. He's just going through some of his routine about keeping his foot solid, maybe thinking about staying down on the ball a little bit more. There's no question. Oh, spiral bomb. You don't see many of them.
You can still find them.
You can still find them. That is out of the George Ford playbook. Owen Farrell taking the lead from his good mate, and Lee Halfpenny did astonishingly well. That was like one of those skies in cricket, and it's windy and you got no chance, but he took it, Halfpenny, and he's meant that Wales have the ball inside their own half. So Thomas Williams kicks. This should be meet and drink for Freddie Stewart. It is. He's upended, but the referee Maturin Al happy there was nothing on towards from Wales.
This is a huge area.
Players.
Huge area where England are dominating at the moment is the air. Any up and unders, any box kicks, Freddie Stewart, Max Malins are just nailing them.
We've spent a lot of the last 10 minutes looking to the right where England are attacking, and you get the sense the crowd can feel it. Can Wales give them something before half-time, which is only 6.5 minutes away? This one has gone by quickly, even though we've just had the 11 points. 3 for Wales and 8 for England. And after a pretty fast start in the first 10, it's been a reversion to type a little bit with the kicking game, but they're testing Freddie Stewart, who loves it, doesn't he? He loves these kind of aerial battles, and he takes them all most of the time. England halfway. Jack Van Poortvliet out to Ellis Genge. Genge has an option in Ludlam, who's almost through. Good carry, Lewis Ludlam, and he almost got through again. England get quick ball. They're not quite getting away at pace, but they are playing with a bit of tempo as Ellis Genge goes into the Wales half on the sponsors logo. Back it'll go from Van Poortvliet to Farrell, who kicks for Watson, a kind of quasi cross kick. Gary Owen, up comes Stewart, gets a big hand to it, but clearly forward. Chesson was under the post, but definitely won't be a try. Knock on by England.
When the ball goes up and there's a bit of space, you know Lee Halfpenny's going to take it because he's got a little bit of time. But when it's a 50-50, you just think England are going to win him.
Yeah, there's no question that England have targeted certain areas to bombard with high balls, and particularly when they can get Freddie Stewart in that front line of chase. He is masterful in the air, defensively and in an attacking manner. Do you know what? I wouldn't be surprised, Tom, if Gats makes some sort of half-time changes with some of the Welsh team. I'm looking, dare I say, we're not going to make any friends here, but Alan Wynne-Jones is looking properly tired.
I think Rhys Carey is a big carrier. We need some big carriers on, I think, come the second half, as is Bradley Roberts as well.
Yeah.
You need someone to get Wales on the front foot, because at the moment, they can't really get a hold of this game. No.
Well, there is some youth on the bench in that second row area. Matt Dafydd Jenkins, just 20, did all right up in Edinburgh, but Alan Wynne-Jones, who was dropped for that game, brought back for this one as Warren Gatland continued to reshuffle his pack.
Just a couple of times he's been slow to get back into the line, and England are exploiting some of those gaps. Now I don't know whether he's taking a knock, he might be holding a leg or something, but it's happened 2 or 3 times, and England will exploit that.
Penalty to Wales though, Tom Shanklin, at the scrum.
Yeah, it is. It's a good one as well for Wales, because it's just outside the 22, but it's a good angle for Owen Williams, who'll be able to get this ball over England's 40-metre line, which means it's a really good attacking opportunity off a line-out with 5 minutes to go. They need to do something, I feel, now.
More reaction at half-time from Mark Chapman to the Premier League games that have happened earlier. Wins for Arsenal, Leeds, Villa, and handsomely for West Ham. Bournemouth, Manchester City is our 5:30 kick-off. Commentary on Sports Extra, then on 5 Live at the conclusion of Wales against England, which is nearing half-time. In 4 minutes, England lead by 8-3. Mason Grady over the game line as Wales, for a while, haven't had much territory, now they've got some as Ken Owens charges up. Good ball for Thomas Williams, he switches with Owen Williams. Lee Halfpenny on his shoulder, decent carry that from the Wales 10. Owen Williams, now namesake Thomas, out to Hawkins, he throws a dummy, level by Farrell. But Wales are attacking as Lawrence comes through, doesn't play the 9, so doesn't give a penalty away. Good work that from Ollie Lawrence.
Good discipline, really good discipline, because he made it. It would have been so tempted to get his hands in and give the penalty away, but Wales have got a bit of mojo here.
Alan Wynne-Jones plays at 9. Owen Williams has got Jack Willis all over him looking for the steal. Hasn't managed that one, Jack Willis, but he's a constant menace on the floor. Reece Amit's off his wing looking for work. Wales attacking just short of the 22 on 5 Live. 3 minutes to half time. Adam Beard, but England are doing well on the gain line to stop Wales in their tracks. Jack Willis that time. Thomas Williams, Owen Williams, centre field. What have these Wales players got? The great Talupi Faletau sets it up on the 10-metre line, but England's defence looking solid. Have Wales got a spark in attack? Adams off his wing now. Justin Tipperick, if anyone's going to make something happen, it could be Tipperick. Still Wales around about the 10-metre line and the 22, in between the lines, going through their phases. 12 of them in this move. Hawkins at dummy at fly half, throws a dummy. Thomas Williams looks to the left, now Owen Williams out the back, nice delay. Josh Adams, Lewis Rees-Zammit's almost through, he is through. Brilliant from Rees-Zammit, he's 6 metres short. Jack Willis on the ball looking for the turnover, but it's there for Wales. It was Lewis Rees-Zammit with that spark, and now listen to the Cardiff crowd as we near half time. Wales can go level, they could take the lead with a converted try. They've not had much ball, but what an opportunity this is, Tom Shanklin, right towards the end of the half.
And this is where Wales are playing better. They're playing in a wider chance, and they get the ball a little bit wider. They're able to get over the gain line. Then they start again.
7 metres out, the captain Ken Owens sets it up. They pick and go, Wales. Willis again on the ball looking for the steal. He's got it. Jack Willis has been lurking all move there. They needed to isolate him, Wales, and clear him out. Maybe Alex Dombrandt's in there, whoever it is. Wales give the penalty away, and their most promising attack by miles of this first half has ended up with a penalty to England.
There you go. And the decision made by Faletau there just to pick and go when everybody else in a red jersey was going around the corner, running off 9, running off 10. He's picked and gone through the middle, and England have thank you very much. Happy days, Dombrand.
It was that sneaky pick, wasn't it, where people don't expect it. The ball should have just been recycled, but that's probably some of the best Wales attack we've seen in this championship so far. It's taken 3 games. They went from right to left to right and back left again, and a lovely ball from Owen Williams put Lewis Rees-Zammit through, who managed to get just about 5 metres out. But you've got to nail those chances in these big games.
Yeah, Hawkins and Grady just causing a little bit of trouble there. If Wales can somehow get themselves after a couple of phases back into that routine of 10, 12, 13 with fast ball, I think they look pretty dangerous.
Yeah, Dombrand and Ollie Lawrence both over the ball. Lawrence having a good half, building on his performance against Italy, offering England a direct carrying threat in the midfield. Final minute of this first half, as expected, captivating, compelling, but cagey. Wales, though, spoiled England more, Tom Shanklin. They have a scrum and a last chance.
Another chance, yeah, on England's 40-metre line on the right-hand side. Now, the positives have been Joe Hawkins and Mason Grady. I think Mason Grady running laterally at someone like Henry Slade, I think is exactly where you want to target. There's no point up for me going short here and bringing the forwards back into the game. You go for an all-out attack, you go wide. Where Wales' strength is, you've got Josh Adams, Mason Grady on the left-hand side. 2 of what I think Wales' most dangerous players. You've got to play to them.
I think also Owen Williams is slotted in quite nicely there, isn't he? He's
taking it flat.
Yeah, and he's organised. He's been a little, well, he's not a little bit. He's a big general to have in that 10 shirt. He's taking it close to the line. He's using the artillery around him. It's certainly the place for Wales to attack.
Well, the sky above us has gone from a blue to an ominous purple as Wales attack with seconds left of this first half. Lawrence now looking for the steal, but it's there for Wales. Owen Williams, nice delay. Lewis Rees-Zammit, but a good tackle from the diminutive Van Poorfleet. Thomas Williams, Alan Wynne-Jones at first receiver. 8-3 England. Final play of this first half in Cardiff. 5 Live and BBC Sounds as Lee Halfpenny sets it up just short of the 22. What have Wales got? They've got Alan Wynne-Jones out the back to Owen Williams with a nice flat ball to Gareth Thomas, who's got into the 22. Wales starting to buff the England line now. There for Thomas Williams. Owen Williams throws a dummy. Short ball. Wales almost getting through, but they can't be much closer. 7 or 8 metres. Now Ken Owens drives on. Just short of the 5-metre line for Wales, who have numbers to the left. Listen to the Cardiff roar. Here goes Josh Adams off his wing. Good tackling Chesham in the midfield. There for Thomas Williams, and now Adam Beard drives to within 5. Lewis Ludlam looking for the steal. He's got it, and England are managing to scramble under real pressure, and that'll be half-time.
Brilliant defence. Team defence from England, but then individual defence. Fantastic hit from Maro Itoje. Josh Adams came screaming in on a hard line, put him back on his backside, and then again sniffing opportunity from Lewis Ludlam, who's turning into one of those silent assassins, just picks his moment beautifully to get in.
If you're a split second off timing, hitting that ruck, England are straight in it. Whether it's Don Brandt, Willis or Ludlam, they've got England out of trouble, because for the last 10 minutes England have been under a lot of pressure.
Owen Farrell put England on the board with a penalty. Great try. Anthony Watson put Wales 8 clear. A halfpenny penalty cut the gap. Wales pressing towards the end of the first half, but England's defence just about clinging on. Half-time mark at the Principality Stadium. Wales 3, England 8.
Back with Chris and Tom and Matt for the second half. Remember earlier, Italy 20, Ireland 34. Elsewhere in the Rugby Union today, in the Gallagher Premiership, Saracens 29, Newcastle 23, Northampton 41, Gloucester 34. In the United Rugby Championship, Sharks 24, Ulster 31, Lions 35, Glasgow 24. In the Premier 15s women's competition, Bristol 59, Worcester 10, Exeter 45, Loughborough 5. In the football today, let's start with the Premier League. We'll go through everything over the next 15 minutes or so. But in the Premier League, Everton 0, Aston Villa 2, Leeds 1, Southampton 0, Leicester 0, Arsenal 1, West Ham 4, Nottingham Forest 0. It means at the top of the table, Arsenal have a 5-point lead over Manchester City, who are at Bournemouth in the 5:30. It's just got underway. John Akers.
42 seconds gone, and Manchester City have already won their first corner. Grealish with a shot on goal, deflected behind. So Foden has gone across to take it. One right arm in the air at the moment. Of course, Manchester City looking to cut the gap back to 2 points at the top as the corner swung in. Far post, and Bournemouth deal with it. So Pep Guardiola makes 4 changes to the team that were held at Forest. Then Kevin De Bruyne is only well enough for a place on the bench. Laporte's injured, Walker and Silva are substitutes. Akanji, Lewis, Ake and Alvarez come in. So Foden, Gundogan and Grealish start. Mahrez on the bench, while a point would take Bournemouth above Everton in the relegation zone after their win at Wolves. But the goal scorer that day, Marcus Tavernier, is injured. That is a massive miss. They're a completely different team with him in the side. Chris Mepham replaces him, and Manchester City in comfortable possession on halfway.
So the bottom 3 then, Southampton with 18, Bournemouth with 21 and Everton with 21. Then after today's results, Leeds with 22, West Ham with 23, Wolves and Leicester with 24 and Nottingham Forest with 25. We'll get some reaction to the day's football in just a moment. Andy Murray's in action in the final at the Qatar tournament. Russell Fuller.
And it has ended in defeat to Daniil Medvedev, who's won his second title in 2 weeks. He won the final 6-4, 6-4, and deservedly so. Murray not at his sharpest after a draining week. I think he'll be especially frustrated to have dropped his serve from 40-love up at 4 games all in the second set, having already fought back from a breakdown. Murray will not get a significant ranking boost from this run to the final. That's because it's one of the smaller ATP tournaments, but he'll take a huge amount of confidence from it, and he's back in action probably as early as Tuesday, where he plays the 5th seed Hubert Hurkacz in the first round of the next event in Dubai.
Reaction to the day's football to come after Joe Critcher and the BBC News.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Marches and rallies have taken place in County Tyrone in support of a police officer critically wounded by gunmen on Wednesday. 5 people have been arrested in connection with the attack on Detective Chief Inspector John Caldwell in Omagh. He was shot after coaching a youth football team. A body's been found by police searching for the missing sister-in-law of the actor Mackenzie Crook. 62-year-old Laurel Aldridge hasn't been seen for 11 days after leaving her home in West Sussex. The UK and the EU appear to be on the brink of finalising a new deal on post-Brexit trading rules for Northern Ireland. A Downing Street source has described talks as positive, while the Irish Prime Minister said they were inching towards a conclusion. And the Deputy Chair of the Environment Agency, Judith Batchelor, is calling for food production and distribution in the UK to be made more resilient. Supermarkets are currently limiting the sale of some produce because of bad weather abroad and high energy costs here.
BBC Sounds.
For a fresh take on the news, join me, Adam Fleming.
And me, Chris Mason.
On Newscast.
Every time I looked at my phone, there was another pretty huge revelation.
We've got loads of special guests joining the podcast to help us understand what's really going on with the latest stories.
The arithmetic can be so numbing when you hear millions are affected.
Go behind the headline hype with our podcast every weekday.
This has been an unprecedented shock.
Newscast. Listen on BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sport with Mark Chapman.
Reaction to the day's Premier League games to come then during half-time of Wales against England. Let's start at the London Stadium. West Ham 4, Nottingham Forest 0. David Moyes is live with John Southall.
David, he's just walked in. Thank you very much for talking to us on 5 Live. Declan Rice has been in. He said the win was a relief. What is it for the manager?
I thought it was a really good performance by the players. Even the first half we hadn't scored, but I felt our performance was much improved. We missed one big chance. Danny Ings had a really good chance from a cross in the first half, and I thought, I don't know, maybe 8 or 9 corner kicks in the opening.
It was 10 in the first half, wasn't it?
No, we really gave ourselves a chance, but we couldn't turn anything into a goal, and I thought, here we go again. But it was a case of half time, a sort of much more of the same, lads, let's see if we can keep doing it and see if we can get somebody in the right spot. And thankfully, when you've got somebody like Danny Ings, you expect him to get in the right spot a few times, and certainly did today.
Yeah, that's what he does, isn't it? I mean, is that what you've been missing, a player like him?
I think sometimes to have the art of being a centre forward and knowing your runs and what areas of the pitch, you need to be in. And I think, Danny Ings has done it for years, and he prides himself on goals as well. I can tell looking at him, he's what he wants. I thought the second goal he got scored today was a great centre forward goal where he bundles the ball over the line. It was great work by Said Benrahma to sort of get him the opportunity. But being a centre forward, you've got to be able to score all different types of goals, and that was one I quite enjoyed today.
Before the game, there was a talk it's a must-win game for West Ham. It's a must-win game for David Moyes. How did you see it?
Well, I think that was getting told by you people, not you in particular. Everybody inside the club's saying the exact opposite. So, I'm really fortunate that I've got good owners, and I've got to say, as a manager over my time, I've been really fortunate to have really good owners at so many clubs who, when things aren't going well, sometimes you need a bit of support. All managers do. And I don't know how many games there's been today, but there'll be a lot of managers out there who've lost games and need support from their chairman, from their owners. So I've never really felt too bad about it, but I have to keep answering the questions when you boys ask me.
On that kind of note, Graham Potter yesterday said he talked about the mental health issues that managers can have, and I think he said he'd spoken to you about it. Do you think it is a concern in the game for managers?
Well, I think, and I don't want to be direct here, but if you're going to put a radio show on later on and ask people to phone in and ask about a manager's job, I can't see how that's correct. But it's not for me. I've been in the game long enough, and I've had.
Is that the nature of the game?
No, that's the nature of what people are doing. And if you're actually talking about mental health, then I wouldn't come on and ask you about your job and that somebody was going to take your job. So sometimes I think people have got to take some responsibility, and maybe asking people to phone in and ask about a manager's job, I'm not sure that's the right thing, or in this world we're in at the moment, if that's the way it should be going.
David, thank you. Well done today.
Cheers, thank you.
David, you mentioned what a brilliant answer. Let's go to Maz Faruqi. Massive win for West Ham, big win for Leeds as well.
Yeah, and Javi Gracia has been speaking in the last few minutes to us here in the tunnel, Mark, insisting that he's seen enough from his Leeds players today to know that they will stay up this season. He seems certain about that, but in the early stages it was the same old Leeds in the first half. Lots of possession, few real chances until the 77th minute when Junior Firpo had the composure composure to get the ball into the back of the net. Even then, though, we wondered if they would be able to hold out for the win, given you have to look back to the beginning of November for the last one in the league, Leeds. But they held on against a Southampton side who admittedly offered very little going forward. James Ward-Prowse was very quiet today, and that shows how important he is for the Southampton side, the skipper. If he isn't informed, their options going forward are very limited. But Leeds did hold on for a rare win, a valuable win, and they are out of the bottom three. They won here 1-0.
And here's their new boss, Javi Gracia.
Congratulations on a winning start. How good does it feel?
It was really good. I think the club needed it, and after 10 games without winning, to get this result is something amazing for us. Very happy for all the supporters, for all the club, for all the people is working here, and especially for the players, because they were working without results, without reward, and today they did it really well.
How much time have you had to work with your players this week?
Yeah, we spent time together, but working on the pitch was one training session, but it was enough because we get a good result.
What did you make of the atmosphere here? They love their football here, and they got right behind you from the off, and when the goal went in, such an explosion of noise. I guess you must have enjoyed that.
Yeah, I hope listen more times, because the atmosphere is something special, and I want to live more days like today in the future. I think the supporters deserve better things, and we are going to work for it.
Javi Gracia with Martin Fisher. The Everton revival under Sean Dyche came to a shuddering halt, Will Perry.
Yeah, but a much-needed win for Aston Villa, who, after losing 3 on the bounce before this, you can see why they are going to go back to the West Midlands happy bunnies. I just spoke to Unai Emery. He's delighted to have kept a clean sheet, having conceded 11 goals in those games against Leicester, Manchester City and Arsenal. It's a win, actually, which leaves them only 4 points off a European spot in 7th. A lot of football to play as well. Everton, though, back in the relegation zone. Everton left regretting not taking chances, and particularly chances in the first half. Maupay had 3 really good opportunities, an unmarked header wide which was then hit straight at Martinez after that in acres of space. He then saw a Mings clear off the line, I should say, and Onana, a header brilliantly saved by Martinez. All of this before Gay lunged in on McGinn in the box. A penalty was given. Watkins, with just over an hour gone, stuck it right down the middle past Pickford, who was again then beaten by Buendia, powering past him from a tight angle. So it's 2 defeats in 4 games for Sean Dyche. Definitely more organised and competitive under him. When you look at what they've got to come, though, chappers, Arsenal, Chelsea and Spurs, 3 of the next 4 games for Everton. I just caught up with Dyche, and he wasn't too unhappy with what his team offered today.
A lot of the performance was right today. The feel of the performance, the energy, especially a bit flat the first 15 minutes, but then we started coming to life, started creating chances. Dwight McNeil, I thought, was excellent all game today. He was very productive in the first period, in the first half, sorry. Everyone's a bit tight, not been scoring this season, and we're trying to correct that. And just that little, like I say, the only word I can use, that freedom. When the team's scoring goals, everyone looks a bit more loose. They're driving into the right areas. Their runs are half a yard quicker than what they normally are. Finishes just have a bit more clarity on. And we're still looking a little bit unassured in the final third with the big moments. And inevitably got done on 2 very soft goals from our point of view.
What's the progress report then after 4 games? 2 wins, 2 defeats, but progress, right?
Well, I think the progress is the energy, the commitment to the cause. I think that's coming. I think the ongoing kind of sharpness of the players, the style that we want to commit to, which is mixing our play to affect teams in different ways. And there was some show of that today. You got in behind them with some quality today, especially first half, and second half tried to get in the right areas, and that bit of conviction in the final third. And that's what's been lacking all season. We know that before I was here and while I've been here, because we have created chances, we have got into key areas. It's that bit of freedom that comes with confidence, of course, but you build your own confidence.
Sean Dyche with Will Perry. 5 of the top 6 in the Championship all won. The only side to lose were Middlesbrough, beaten at West Brom, so all 6 stay in their same positions. The bottom 3 all lost in the Championship. Wigan beaten by 10-man Preston. Blackpool lost at Reading. Huddersfield were walloped by the leaders Burnley 4-0. Back to the Premier League. Arsenal winning 1-0 at Leicester. Here's Mikel Arteta.
Mikel Arteta, congratulations. Another big away win.
Huge win, and to win against Villa away and Leicester away,
in 10 days is not an easy thing to do, and I think we have deserved to win those matches, which is the most important thing. I think the manner, the way we played today, the way we dominated again, the way we have to restrict the opponent almost nothing is very difficult, so big credit to the team.
Some VAR frustrations in the first half in particular. How easy is it to kind of put that behind you and focus on the rest of the game?
I think we did it really professionally. I think emotionally really controlled, because we could have that in the back of our mind and show that frustration. We didn't. We talked about that at half time, and we went off the blocks really strong in the second half again, and we scored the goal.
How critical was it to score that goal so quickly in the second half? Because it immediately changed the kind of tenor of that second half, didn't it?
It does, and obviously the opponent has to change their behaviour as well, and we had some big situation again that we should have put to bed much earlier, and we are lacking that at the moment in the final third with the amount of situations we create to be more efficient there to win for bigger margins, but especially defensively as well. I think we were top.
Mikel Arteta there with Nick Godwin. The leaders in League One, Sheffield Wednesday won again at Charlton by 1-0. Plymouth stay in second despite being beaten 5-2 at Peterborough. Ipswich in third and Bolton in fourth both won. Barnsley have gone above Derby into fifth after they beat Paul Warne's side at Oakwell by 4-1. Forest Green Rovers got a point, but they remain bottom of the table. The rest of the bottom four, Cambridge, MK Dons and Accrington Stanley, as things stand in League Two. In League One. In League Two, the leaders Leyton Orient drew 2-2 at Grimsby. Carlisle have gone into second after a thumping 5-2 win at Crawley. Stevenage dropped to third after another defeat, this time at home to Tranmere. In the playoff spots, Northampton, who won at Colchester. Stockport, despite losing at Barrow. Salford, who got a big win at Mansfield, and that drops Mansfield into seventh. Bottom of the table, Rochdale got a draw today, 1-1, also in, that was at Crewe. The other side who are in the bottom two are Crawley, who were thrashed at home by Carlisle. The deadlock already broken at Bournemouth. John Akers.
And the goal comes from Manchester City. It's Alvarez in the 15th minute. Haaland hit the bar. He was there to chest it down and bundle it over the line from close range. Bournemouth 0. Manchester City 1.
Sports Extra, if you want to listen to that. The second half will be here on 5 Live after the rugby. In the National League, Notts County, the leaders have just taken the lead at home to Dagenham and Redbridge. Remember, it's the Scottish League Cup this weekend, so Celtic and Rangers are in that and not in action in the Premiership. The big game in the Premiership was at the bottom, and Dundee United were thrashed and stayed bottom after a 4-0 defeat at Ross County. The other scores, Aberdeen 1, Livingston 0, Kilmarnock 1, Motherwell 1 and 10-man St Johnstone 1. St Mirren 1. They've just got back underway in Cardiff. Chris Jones.
Yeah, the exact halfway point of the 2023 Six Nations Championship as Owen Farrell starts off the second half. Wales 3, England 8. Next score feels big. We often say that, Tom Shanklin, in Test rugby, as Freddie Stewart regains it for England.
Yeah, it is. Wales will really want to start big now. They had some really good possession at the end of that first half, but a couple of big turnovers from England just got them out of trouble. But they're still in this. Loose.
Oh, interception by Reece Zammit, and it's Wales who are going to get it for the first try in this second half. England ponderous, and Reece Zammit's onto it, and Wales are going to go into the lead in Cardiff.
I was just saying about starting big. You cannot start bigger than that. One of Wales's best players, so good he's back fit in the team, just plucks one from the air and intercept, and once he catches that, good luck catching him. He was flying.
And it was exactly as I said there, Chris. It was ponderous from England. It looked all a little bit too easy. Freddie Stewart taking the kick, crashing it up there. A couple of quick phases. England had their back line. It got a little bit too intricate rather than being direct. And there was Reece Zammit poaching from halfway, immediately zoned in to the sticks.
I think it was Max Malins. Was it Max Malins through the intercept pass there?
Oh, too easy for Wales and for Reece Zammit, and too easy for Lee Halfpenny to tag on the two and put Wales in the lead for the first time today. We said, Tom Shanklin, what would an early score do to this team and this crowd? And there's your answer.
Yeah, you can hear the crowd now, changes it completely now. England 2 points behind with most of the possession really in that first half, but Wales need to keep this tempo up now. The crowd will start to cheer, start to get on England's backs, but they've got to exit their line clearly first.
Cleared by Wales. Forward comes Stewart. Oh, what a take. That was Aussie rules-esque over his head. And now England from a similar position. Can they muster an attack with a bit more purpose and penetration? Van Poortvliet, Farrell, Alex Dombrandt with a run-up. Couldn't quite get the offload away. Henry Slade was lurking. Van Poortvliet, quick ball. Farrell kicks. He's charged down. England, though, win a penalty as Wales roll, and that is a frustrating penalty to give away if you're Wales, and very welcome if you're England, because Farrell could kick this for the lead.
It was ricocheted, wasn't it? Farrell trying to put a grubber through, ricocheted into Owen Williams' hands, and he's rolled, but it's not.
That's not the option, Tom.
No, it's not the option. You can't kick that flat with people in front of you. It'd be a miracle kick for that ball to go through. But I mean, sometimes this roll, sometimes momentum just takes you over an extra rotation.
Yeah, felt tad on the harsh side. Farrell's gone for the corner, not the postman.
Yeah, interesting. He probably could have gone into the lead there, but England want to bounce back pretty quick. Can't say anything else on the driving maul, surely.
Itoje from George's throw. They peel. Ellis Genge with a run-up. Crashes into Williams. England only 5 out. Van Poortvliet, Carl Sinclair. England only 3 out. Van Poortvliet digs. He's got men to the right. Ellis Genge peels round the corner. A try scorer in round 1. Can he score in round 3? 10-8 Wales lead. But England couldn't be closer. Under the Wales crossbar. They pick and go again through Sinclair. They've got numbers to the right. They've got Lawrence to the left. They're a metre out, England, looking to respond to that Reece Zammit intercept, which put Wales into the lead for the first time. Lawrence has now come to hug this left touchline, but England just want to pick and go round the fringes. Right next to the post, and England drive up again. Are they over, or have they been held up? I think it's been given. Have England scored? Carl Sinclair's bundled over. They went direct. They kept it tight. And right against the pad protector on the right upright, Carl Sinclair scored. Good response from England.
Inch by inch, all from a brilliant line-out manoeuvre, which everybody, including myself, you think because of what they've done against Italy, they're going to drive this forward, and you can see Wales just shrink their defence around the maul, which gave space slightly wider with a rampaging Ellis Genge. And then when they're 5 metres out, it's pick and go, it's inch by inch. Eventually Carl Sinclair nicks over.
It was a brilliant back peel by England there, because you had Ellis Genge running at Owen Williams, and Owen Williams didn't really want to go and meet him on the gain line. You know, when you've got a big carrier like that, he tackled him, but then England were just on the front foot, and there was a bit about patience there.
Oh, this game's exploded into life after half-time.
You just think, Chris, that was after a ricochet ball, which Owen Williams picks up and gets penalised for rolling that extra time. And that allowed Owen Farrell to get the ball 5 metres out with the line out.
Wales 10, England 15. It was Wales 3, England 8 at half-time. And 5 minutes into the second half, we've had 2 tries, both converted. So we're at a 5-point game again in England's favour. Dombrandt from the restart, as England look to clear their lines through Van Poortvliet. And maybe the next score will be the crucial one, because Reece Zammit's try was immediately replied to by England. Halfpenny takes it well from Van Poortvliet's kick. Halfway line for the Welsh. Alan Wynne-Jones finds Justin Tipperick in his blue scrum cap. Now to the left, halfway line to Lupi Faletau, this experienced number 8. Williams now to Chris Schinzer at the opposite end of his international jersey, and he is a dangerous player, isn't he? Chris Schinzer with the ball in hand. Ken Owens trucks it up, tackled by a combination including Ellis Genge. Still the halfway line. England won't mind this, but what do Wales have, Tom Shanklin, in terms of cutting edge, as Williams looks to kick, trying to manoeuvre Stewart around. Watson, oh, nicely done, Anthony Watson, and he's away, and he goes inside to Lawrence, and Lawrence's ball went forward. England trying a bit too hard there, trying the extra pass. Wales scrum. Watson did very well to gather that up and run it out.
I was quite lucky, actually, because the kick wasn't on from Thomas Williams. He kicked it, a little box kick. The bounce is held up, and then Anthony Watson, there was Lewis Reece Zammit slips, Lee Halfpenny slips, Anthony Watson rushes down the left-hand side, passes it inside to Oy Lawrence, who then passes it on again inside, but the ball is dropped.
Okay, guys.
A let-off there for Wales, I think.
Yeah, like the endeavour there from England to
Or was it dropped?
He just
a forward pass,
slightly forward pass. Yeah, for England to counter attack from their own 22, recognising that they had 3 or 4 backs in a bunch, intricate hands. Shame it went forward. But yeah, this initial 7.5 minutes has lit the game, lit the stadium, lit the atmosphere.
Last couple of scrums you've seen Wales and inside England's 40-metre line, they've been short balls to Mason Grady. We've got to see something different now.
Listen to the noise in Cardiff from both sets of supporters. The scrum splinters. Oh, Mathieu Raynal, all eyes on the ref. He wants a reset, but I imagine both front rows be getting in the referee's ear saying we were on top there.
Desperate to see Mason Grady with a bit of an outside ball. He's got pace, he's got really good footwork. He's strong, he's powerful. And when you've got players like that on your side, you just want to give them the ball.
Well, and it's a nice place to attack for Wales. Where you got the English scrum half is sort of caught slightly. He's all at best. Jack Van Portley's going to get a side-on tackle to any traffic coming in. So therefore, Owen Farrell just has to check a bit. So does Ollie Lawrence. So does Henry Slade. Executed well. That's why I was wondering why Toby Faletau didn't just get the ball out there, get the ball into Owen Williams' hands and see what they got.
Well, it's been a real tussle in the scrum. This time it's a free kick to Wales. Hawkins from the quick tap. Halfpenny on the wide channel. Good tackle. Henry Slade there for Wales, but England counter-rucked very well there. Good stuff from the England forwards. Penalty England. And hands in the air from Willis. Ludlam punches the air. England lead by 5. They have the penalty and a chance, Tom Shanklin, to move back into Welsh territory.
I sort of think when you get a free kick there, just go for the scrum again. He's tapped and gone. But then it just allows England more players in that back line. If you get a scrum, you can isolate players better. Thomas Williams is obviously trying to speed the game up. But for me, that's the wrong decision. Take the scrum again and attack England on a set piece.
Yeah, they will have some training ground free kick set piece moves. On that occasion, they went wide when a lot of the Welsh forwards were still in the scrum and on the deck, and therefore you are going to be relying on backs going in to win that ruck. England made a little bit of a mess of it.
But by the time you get a free kick, the forwards have time to fan out, which means you can fan out a little bit wider as a defensive team.
Itoje off the top, Farrell at first, receiver melted by Ken Owens. Not much going on for England there. It was good line-up ball, but the move went awry, and now the ball is slow, painfully so for Van Poortvliet and Itoje, who sets it up on the 10-metre line inside the Welsh half. Looks like Van Poortvliet is going to box kick in Welsh territory. And he's got Malins after it, so too Willis. Loose ball gathered by Dombrandt. Now Van Poortvliet. It's back in English possession. They have a scrum advantage, but they're kind of where they started. 10-metre line, just inside the Welsh half. Ollie Chesham going on a run, a little bit isolated, but showing decent enough strength. And we'll go back for the scrum to England after Wales knocked it on.
Yeah, what a spot this is for England. They've got pretty much full width to play with. They seem to have a little bit of control in that set piece. They don't necessarily want to be driving Wales back and risk any kind of offence going against them. Even just static ball for the back line is going to create something.
This is exactly the same position on the field where England scored in the first half, on the right-hand side, just outside the 22. You'd expect something similar to what they did for the break by Ollie Lawrence and Anthony Watson try.
The eagle eye of Tom Shanklin with us on 5 Live and BBC Sounds, a Grand Slam winner of British and Irish Line. The man to my right, Matt Dawson, both those things, the World Cup winner to boot, with us as ever on 5 Live. Remember, Man City lead at Bournemouth 1-0, Alvarez with the goal. Second half commentary from the Vitality after this one, which has just under half an hour to run as the noise levels crank up once more. Free kick to Wales from the scrum. England going early and respite for the Welsh.
I think that's a let off for Wales because the England attack of the set piece scrum in the first half was really good.
There we sat. I mean, we've spoken about it only 30 seconds ago. You don't, because of the way that the scrums are going, and at the moment Raynal, the referee, is basically going to penalty Wales, penalty England, penalty Wales. Take the risk out of it. don't try and drive them forward, just take the hit, set piece, get the ball in and away.
Well, it's now that we look towards the benches. Wales with Bradley Roberts, Rhys Carrick, Dylan Lewis, Dafford Jenkins, the 20-year-old, Tommy Raffel of Leicester, Kieran Hardy, Dan Biggar, 106 caps and all, and Nick Tompkins. England have Jack Walker, Maka Vunipola, Dan Cole, Courtney Lawes, the returning vice-captain, Ben Curry, and the live wire trio of Alex Mitchell, Marcus Smith and Henry Arundel. Which coach will make their move to their replacements first? High cross kick from Owen Williams. Anthony Watson completely misses it. Van Poortvliet's in trouble here. He goes back and dives on the ball and does very well, actually, the Leicester scrum half to regain possession for England. But Watson, the try scorer, mistimed that one and put his club teammate in a spot of bother. England have it, though. Don Brandt pops it to try scorer Sinclair. 53 minutes gone at the Principality Stadium. As Van Poortvliet looks to kick again. The game is just Matt Dawson slowed down in pace. It's got a bit cagey as we go to Bournemouth. A goal for John Akers.
2-0 to Manchester City. Bournemouth 0, Manchester City 2. It's Erling Haaland, left foot after a cross from the right-hand side. A really nice first-time finish with his left foot. Couldn't really miss. Bournemouth 0, Manchester City 2.
Nice one, John.
Yes, I agree.
City keeping pace with Arsenal, who are 5 points clear for now, having won 1-0 at the King Power against Leicester earlier. And a huge day of football, as always, on 5 Live Sport and BBC Sounds tomorrow, with Tottenham against Chelsea, London derby in the Premier League, and then the League Cup final. 4:30 kickoff at Wembley. Manchester United against Newcastle United, which should be some occasion at Wembley. And as we were saying, Matt and Tom, it's just slowed down in pace as Van Poortvliet kicks again.
Yeah, there's a few Welsh substitutes warming up on the far side there. Little bit scrappy, people catching their breath. I suppose it's getting to that stage now of the teams are realising what they're good at, where they want to play. And probably both teams are saying, guys, cut the mistakes out, get the discipline high, let's play in the right areas. There's some big decisions to be made in the next 5-10 minutes. It's going to probably determine the result.
Nick Tompkins. So we've got Mason Grady's moved to the wing now, to left wing. Josh Adams has gone off. Dan Biggar's coming at 10 and Owen Williams has gone off. I'm not sure I agree with Owen Williams going off right now. Wales don't have to chase the game at the moment. They're only 5 points behind. There's still 25 minutes left, and I thought Owen Williams has done pretty well up to now.
Yeah, 25 to go. Wales 10, England 15, and maybe this is the kind of environment in which Dan Biggar thrives. We've seen him do it before in this fixture against England. 5 points down.
I was going to say, it's so easy, isn't it, from 60 yards away, halfway up the stand, but the crowd, there's a little lull. The crowd are starting to think, where's the game going to go? They're assessing the replacements. If you're the Welsh team now and the crowd is going absolutely bonkers, you're going to love it. If you're the England fans, you're going to feel the pressure. You're going to make some strange decisions because of the pressure. Wales need 3 points. They don't need a try now. They need 3 points. Drop goal, penalty, to up the intensity, because I think we're all in agreement. This goes down to the wire. If it's a 1, 2, 3 point game with 5 minutes to go, you've got to fancy Wales for it.
Of course, they need big moments to get the crowd behind you, whether it's a break, whether it's a big hit, something to generate some atmosphere here. Then the crowd get with you, then the crowd get on top of England.
Well, who's going to blink first? Wales 10, England 15. England keeping the ball in the scrum. Don Brandt with one hand, picks it up, finds Ollie Lawrence, who's well shackled by the replacement Dan Biggar, just short of the halfway line. Mako Vunipola is on. Ellis Genge coming off. Interesting call from Borthwick to bring on Vunipola at this stage. 55 minutes gone. Genge's usual industrious self in the time he was on the pitch. Again, really slowed down after that lightning fast start to the second half, with tries from Rhys Ahmed and then from Sinclair for England. Here is the aforementioned Rhys Ahmed, who drops it, and that's exactly what Wales didn't need, but exactly conversely what England would have needed. Territory, take the sting out of the game and try and build a score.
Just before he took that ball, his eyes just flickered up to see who was coming at him, and it was Ollie Lawrence.
That's a big moment. That is a real big moment, because we saw what happened when England got towards Wales's line with their line-out. They had some great options. Their line-out's been functioning superbly well, not only today but throughout the tournament, and you feel that England have done their homework. So a set piece, scrum down of course for the knock-on, but what position, left to right, full width. What have England backline got in their locker?
Well, they've got Anthony Watson just hovering behind Owen Farrell. You'd imagine that Ollie Lawrence would be some kind of decoy. He's moved out to 13 channel. Henry Slade's moved in at 12, which means he might be a ball player, just to try and get the ball a little bit wider. And then you've got Max Malins. He's right on the touchline, so there's so much space out there. But England have got to do a job at holding Wales in that 10-12 channel first.
Great opportunity this for England from the set piece. A try for England here, could be terminal for Wales. Van Portfleet, Slade the first but Ollie Lawrence tried to split the Wales centres. Set up in centre field, Van Portfleet almost caught, finds Dombrandt, but the move slightly slowed down, and Faletau comes in to steal. Good scrambling and hustling from the Welsh, but England will feel they've messed up a good opportunity there. What a ball that is from Tompkins, incredibly taken by Rhys Carre, but then England have turned it over, have they? Yes, they have. So it's England's ball. It will be an England scrum, and England get another chance to launch a set piece.
I think Jack Willis may have jackled that with one hand, his left hand. It's a brilliant first turnover from Faletau there. Quick hands, went to deck, turned it round. But then again, Dan Biggar, Tompkins trying to run it out of their own 22 when everyone's flat.
Yeah, well, Nick Tompkins cuts back inside, throws it out the door back. Throws an out the door ball to Rhys Carre, who has to dive to catch it, which means he goes to the ground straight away, and England can get on top. Yeah. If Carre catches out when he stood still, if the offload is better, he can try and dominate the contact a bit more, but because he's taken it going down, just allows England to get straight over that.
You just want to relieve the pressure though, don't you? Just get a great turnover.
Yeah, of course you do. If you're Wales, you're 5 points behind. You don't be throwing miracle balls in your 22.
And England still have the same back line as we edge towards the hour mark, so no Mitchell Smith or Arundel yet. Good set piece chance this though for England. Dombrandt to the right, Van Portfleet scampering up to the 22. His kick is charged down, then his grubber again goes loose. It's another knock on, and England did this a lot against Italy, kicked in the attacking third of the pitch, but so often not working out. That's another kick which has been shut down well by Wales. It's a scrum advantage to the Welsh, and even though they're deep in their own 22, they will have a chance to get out of there, as Thomas Williams, he will kick, so that'll be advantage over, and Stewart will take it in. Will he look for Farrell? No, he's going to set it up himself. Freddie Stewart, good on-rushing defence from the Welsh. 15-10 for England, almost an hour gone on 5 Live. BBC Sounds as Mako Vunipola sets it up, 40 metres out for England, centre field. Farrell, nice ball, Slade, Watson's off his wing, almost caught by Rhys Ahmed, but he made a metre or two. Now Van Portfleet finds Slade, who kicks. That's a better kick. If this one dribbles out of touch, actually it's going to go dead. Didn't get the bounce, and it will be a scrum all the way back for Wales.
I mean, Chris, you watch a lot of rugby, you watch a lot of England. Just remind me when that's last worked. The grubber in the 22.
2019, I think. And I mean that. They had a lot of joy doing it in Ireland away and France at home, but I can't remember it working much since then.
I don't know what the payback for it is. And that's from a really nice set piece. Scrum going right, 8-9. Maybe even give it to an Ollie Lawrence or Watson, who's got the feet.
He wasn't under pressure
no
either.
Pressure.
There's loads of space in front of him.
And they do it time after time, Tom. I can't get my head around another substitution here, Jack Willis, who probably hasn't made as many turnovers as we expected, given what his first half was like, but not a bad replacement.
Yeah, Ben Curry is on for Jack Willis. Ben Curry started against Scotland, missed out of the 23 against Italy, now back off the bench to win his third cap. And yeah, there's 2 or 3 times, maybe more, England have kicked, and all well and good if you force the team back or you get a goal line dropout, but the execution has just been way below par, and Wales are hanging in this, Tom Shanklin, and the closer it gets, the more the crowd can believe, can Wales strike next? to eat into this 5-point lead.
Yeah, the biggest thing now is for either Wales to put pressure on England to make a mistake, or win a penalty just to try and get some field position. At the moment, they're on their own 40-metre line on the right-hand side. Somehow they've got to get up inside England's 22. You wouldn't think they play around too much with it now. It's these up and unders, it's these box kicks which England have had so much joy from, whether Wales have been kicking them or England have been kicking them. For whatever reason, they're getting off the ground better, they're winning the ball back. Freddie Stewart's been really good, Max Malins has been really good just getting hands to it. All Wales have been knocking it on, so at some stage they're going to have to try and get off the ground, do something, try and win the ball back. The kick has to probably be a little bit better.
I mean, what a difference Freddie Stewart when he's in this mood. It just takes so much out of your armoury when you know you can't go to the air because someone like Freddie Stewart is coming.
Well, another free kick at the scrum. This time it goes to England. Wales infringing, and because they've done it twice, I think nudged early, it's a long arm penalty, so a chance for 3 points. Farrell earlier in the half kicked to the corner from this position. Now he's going for goal to take the 5-point lead, Tom Shanklin, out to 8 as we tick into the final 20 of this game.
It's very difficult for us to see precisely what's going on. It does seem a tit for tat with the penalties, with the free kicks at scrum time at the moment. Imagine he'd get this now. You miss one about this far out in the first half.
There's some good success from the kick to the corner and pressure on Wales's line. But I suppose that was 10 minutes ago. The dynamic of the game changes. You go past 7, all of a sudden Wales need to score twice. Big shift.
Feels the right move, but the decision is often made or broken by the execution. Farrell for 3 to take the gap to 8. It's a long way out. It's 45 or so. It's only 10 metres or so, 12 in from the touchline. Owen Farrell, the England skipper, gives it a thud. He stabbed it. It's a really poor strike from Farrell, and he's missed 3 kicks today. Crucial points go begging as Dom Brandt from Wales's clearance sets it up. So England perhaps at the edge of Farrell's range, but it wasn't the strike we're used to. It was more of a stab than a clean strike as Vunipola sets it up just inside the 10-metre line for England. Penalty Wales. Faletau all over it. Listen to the crowd. Is there going to be, Tom Shanklin, a bit of belief going around this place?
It was Alan Wynne-Jones. Big positive moment. You can see, we can see, you can hear what difference it makes to the crowd when Wales win a penalty like that. It just erupts around the stadium. This is what you need, big moments like that. Vunipola carries it in. Alan Wynne-Jones straight over it. Good position, hands on the ball. Gets a big hug from Adam Beard and Chris Tashunza after, but this is what Wales needed. A penalty or something to get inside England's half. Now they've got a line out just outside England's 22.
Yeah, I mean, what a difference. A decision of 3 points going outside your range. He was not comfortable taking that. You're right, Chris. You could tell by the way he didn't strike the ball. He wasn't confident. Should have been a kick into the corner. And all of a sudden, within the space of 60 seconds, Wales are now in prime position.
25 metres out for the Welsh. As Alan Wynne-Jones, that big turnover was his final intervention. He's been taken off. Owen slightly overthrew, or Tipuric didn't get up high enough. A combination of factors means Wales didn't win their line out cleanly, but they do still have the ball through Faletau. Centre field for the Welsh. Hawkins, little tip on to Nick Tompkins, running into Saracens' teammate Farrell. 5 points the gap. 16 minutes left as the ball is loose from Tipuric. Dylan Lewis involved as well. Biggar's on the back foot. And this is the question, Tom Shanklin, is if Wales do get opportunities, are they good enough to take them? As Williams goes back to Biggar, who kicks it out on the full. No, forward comes Van Poortvliet. Did that go forward by someone? Yeah, it did. It was forward by Van Poortvliet. So Wales do get the scrum around about where the line-out was originally.
These are the moments Wales need. The line-out wasn't that clean, you're right. It had a knock-on effect then with the Welsh attack. The space out there wide at the moment. Tipuric just didn't deliver the pass back behind the 2 decoy runners. It went behind Biggar. Then they got on the back foot, so they had to go to the air. And this time, this is a rare time that Wales actually won the ball back, and they've got a scrum on the left-hand side.
Yeah, where Wales just looked a bit jittery there. They looked like they were in. They were playing
slick
for their lives against England, and it's 5 points down, and we've got to do something right now. It was everybody overrunning, not quite as accurate, maybe not the right call. And there's a bit of inexperience on the field as well. All these big players, Alun Jones, Dan Biggar, now need to step up.
Have to challenge England's backline now. The last few scrums, they've gone short, they've gone direct. I don't think that's enough. There has to be more invention, there has to be more decoys.
Faletau from the scrum, almost up to 22. Thomas Williams brings in Grady, who's off his wing. I think England have turned that over brilliantly. Ben Curry and Farrell gleefully hacked it downfield, and England have completely snuffed out that Wales attack, and Ben Curry got the key turnover, the Sale man.
Stop.
Halfpenny kicks. This could be counter-attacking opportunity for Farrell. No, he kicks it into the darkened Cardiff sky. Forward comes Biggar, well taken from the Centurion, but Stewart is all over him, driving him back. Wales 10, England 15. 15 minutes left on 5 Live from the BBC. On your BBC Sounds app as well, as Tipperick drives on, and Wales have it 30-40 metres from their own line, Shaq.
That was my bugbear with the scrum. There wasn't enough decoy, it was too direct. It wasn't slick enough. They didn't move England's defence around, and it was an easy turnover in the end with a great attacking opportunity for Wales.
Meat and drink for Freddie Stewart from Williams' box kick. Tommy Reffer wanted the penalty there, but referee Reynal not interested. Just short of the halfway line for England. Curry, who got that key steal, he sets it up. And Van Poortvliet, who's still on the pitch, not looking to use Alex Mitchell, Steve Borthwick, as Van Poortvliet kicks over his shoulder towards opposite number Thomas Williams. Finds Halfpenny, who jinks, but Farrell is up there to make the tackle. Wales pinned back now, Tom Shankly, on their own 22. As Reece Carey has a trundle, decent bust from the prop.
A decent outside break for a loose head prop. Showed a good bit of pace there to get Wales with a bit of quick ball on the front foot, but it looks like England slowed it down and Wales will have to kick.
Yeah, Biggar is continually going to the air, and this one is well taken. Henry Slade on halfway. Wales come pouring forward with the counter ruck as England have it. Van Poortvliet back to Farrell, and you got another goal, John Akers.
It's 3-0 City, this could be all over. Bournemouth just gave it away, straight to Phil Foden. He danced into the penalty area and left foot planted it past Neto. Bournemouth 0, Manchester City 1 in stoppage time at the end of the first half. 3 rather, at the end of the first half.
Thanks, John. Yeah, that gap at the top of the Premier League going back to 2 points, it seems. 5 points, the difference here, with 12.5 minutes to go. The second half, after that blistering start, has really tightened up. Dafford Jenkins is on for Wales as Tompkins gets a nice ball away to Hawkins, who gets an offload to Faletau, and listen to the noise as Wales come alive. So do the crowd. Beard shovels it over to the far side to Debuttant Grady. Thomas Williams shovels it on to Tompkins, who throws a dummy. Much better this from Wales, Tom Shankly, as they go towards the 22.
Yeah, it is. Playing with a bit of pace, the ruck speed is a lot quicker. I think Tompkins has made a bit of a difference.
Hawkins, Biggar, Tipperick. Ken Owens on this near touchline. Owens throws a dummy, the Wales captain. Lawrence with the tackling, but therefore Thomas Williams. He shifts to the left and finds Tommy Rafael, who runs into a Toje. There again for Thomas Williams. Biggar not kicking this time. Passing it on to Dafford Jenkins, aged just 20. His first experience of Wales, England, the first of many, you'd hope. As Hawkins hacks it through, well covered by Van Poortvliet, who slices it badly. Error from Van Poortvliet. Real error from the 9. It's given Wales a 22 line-out. Big moment in the game.
Yeah, I mean, and you're right to emphasise that. It was not a difficult kick. Lovely positioning from Jack Van Poortvliet. Scooped it up on the half volley. That needed to go anywhere. Open fairway. 100 yards wide. Slices it out of bounds. And it's a line out to Wales in prime position. Wales, Shanks are... There's no question they've got more energy, more momentum, but they're just lacking a bit of direction at the moment. I'm expecting a bit more from Dan Biggar
Yeah, they're being direct. And that's obviously Dan Biggar's call or Owen Williams' call, Warren Gatland's call. But for me, the strength is out wide. They've got to play a little bit wider at the moment.
Totally agree.
They're just playing too tight into this England pack, which are able to either counter up or just get their hands on the ball. They've got to be more creative.
Well, the last 15 minutes won't be, I think, remembered fondly as one of the great passages of rugby, but it is still very tight, which we expected. Wales 10, England 15. Hawkins coming more and more into the game and into the 22. Thomas Williams, Tipuric, Faletau, these great back rowers starting to make their mark. Dylan Lewis, he's caught by Itoje, who might be on the wrong side. No, the referee's happy. Hardy's off the bench playing 9. Faletau's getting more and more involved. Wales trail just by 5. Biggar on from Tompkins to Halfpenny. In the 22, Wales go. 5 phases of attack. They'll keep building. Dapper Jenkins with his head down, the Exeter man. 22, Hardy's ball is loose. Picked up by Ollie Lawrence, and he's almost away. Can he get the offload? Not quite. Tompkins is going to get a penalty here with the steal, is he? No, it's the other way. It's going to England, and Van Poortvliet kicks, asking Stewart to hair over it. And what a huge momentum swing as Reece Samet goes back to dot it down. Will that be advantage? Yes, it is. Goal line dropout, but an 80-metre swing from Ollie Lawrence's interception.
That's huge. Thomas Williams throws a pass, but it goes to no one. It just bounces along the line. Or was it Kieran Hardy? Kieran Hardy throws a pass, sorry. It just hits no one. And then Lawrence picks it up. It was a brilliant tackle from Nick Tompkins to stop him going through mine. But in doing that, gives a penalty away.
Oh, I mean, that's big moments there. Wales on the hoof. All the momentum, and now dropping out from their own line.
3-0 half-time of the Vitality, by the way. Farrell sends one of those spiral bombs up from the goal line dropout, and Halfpenny's lost it. What a kick that was from Farrell. Van Poortvliet's onto it, passes straight to Maturay now. Surely that's a scrum. No, this scrappy game continues with Laws finding Malins, who's looking for the corner. Max Malins, he's only 3 or 4 metres short. Out it goes now to Makabanapola. England can maybe kill the game off here. Into the final 10 in Cardiff. 5 points the England lead. Slade deep to Lawrence. Can he get it over to Stewart? Yes, he can. Freddie Stewart bundles into Tompkins. Good tackling by the replacement centre. Van Poortvliet finds Itoje. 6 metres out, England. 9 minutes left. 5 points the England lead. Lewis Ludlam with a head of steam. 3 metres out, the Northampton captain. England have got men to walk it over, but Wales win the penalty. And Matt Dawson bangs the desk in frustration. What a chance for England to see Wales off. But Wales have hung on in there and won the penalty, Tom Shanklin, to stay in this fight.
They're not out of this game yet. Not at all. That was close. You thought momentum was with England. You thought they were going to do enough to get over, but a huge turnover there.
All started from an old school spiral up and under from Owen Farrell, and from the moment he hit it, you could see that Lee Halfpenny was out of position, was scrambling like a road runner to try and get traction to get underneath it, spilt it forward, and England on the rampage. And we've spoken time after time about particularly Wales stepping up with their senior players, and there's the man with the blue scrum cap, Tipuric, picking his moment to perfection.
Yeah, and England missed the clear completely. That'll frustrate Steve Borthwick, and that will frustrate Warren Gatland as Owens overthrows. Here's Ben Curry and Jack Van Poortvliet. Can England get it wide? They've got numbers. Slade has it. Freddie Stewart was on his shoulder, but he kicked for Malins, and it runs out of play. And that kick again from England, that tactic to kick. I thought Stewart was on his shoulder.
Time off. I mean, I can't believe what I'm seeing now. It's like a 3-on-1 in the opposition 22. Finish it up. 3-on-2. 3-on-2 simple drills.
No, wait. He knew he was going to kick that ball the moment he caught it. No matter what came out in front of him, what shape came out in front of him, where defences were.
Yeah, I mean,
he knew he was going to kick that.
Everybody listening to this, or when they're watching this, what you practice is what you put on the field. And I've seen on social media this week England training England training that move, breaking through and kicking away a 3-on-2, and there you go, in the cauldron they're doing the same thing.
Well, Wales have won their line out. They are deep in their own 22, Wales. Thomas Williams kicks. He's not gone for touch. Forward comes Malins. Well taken, Malins. So England have it on the 22. As Mitchell comes on for Van Poortvliet. Dan Cole's at first receiver. Has a trundle, the old warhorse. There for Van Poortvliet. Farrell centre field. Wings it out to Mako Vunipola, who bundles over Hawkins. There for Farrell again with a bit of a delay. Then finds Freddie Stewart. England finishing this game well. They need another score to take it away from Wales though. The gap is just 5 as Ludlam sets it up from Lawes' pass. Lawes now on the field. His return to an England shirt after missing the autumn. There for Mitchell. Owen Farrell. Inside it goes to Stewart, who's always looking to carry in attack. 6.5 minutes left on 5 Live. Ben Curry, nice ball to Max Malins, who scored 2 against Scotland, looking for another one. 12 metres out or so England. Courtney Lawes with that left-footed step. Sets it up, 15 in from the touchline. There for Mitchell again, yes it is. Here's Farrell inside to Anthony Watson. England slowly through the phases, they're up to 10. But can they keep the ball? Can they grind Wales down? And can they win in Cardiff for the first time in 6 years? Mitchell comes to the left, finds Ben Curry again. Lawes with the clear. Numbers for England to the left. Mitchell, good ball. Henry Slade up to the line. He's a metre short. And Toje clears. England just need composure. Stewart out to Ollie Lawrence. And that should be the ball game. Ollie Lawrence with the try for England. And England fans below us, behind us and all around us are on their feet. And England has surely got the job done now.
Yeah, proper try, proper rugby, grafting rugby, phase after phase, the patience from England, the accuracy from England, and then just this little bit of magic that Alex Mitchell brings to the game when everybody else is off their feet. His dynamism, his vision, his passing, all very accurate. As you mentioned, 10, 12 phases, and then he saw the phase to have a run across the pitch and put Henry Slade in, which broke the line. And as much as Wales wanted to defend, they simply ran out of men.
Very good execution from Freddie Stewart, 2-on-1 as well. As Alex Mitchell throws him a pass, it's not a little short pass, he's got to throw a long ball, but he has to throw it under pressure. Very good skill execution to nail that. Put Ollie Lawrence in the corner.
Well, Swinglow is the dominant noise around the Principality Stadium. The Welsh crowd silenced. At 5 points, it was in the balance, but England have got what feels the crucial match-defining try, scored by Ollie Lawrence, who continues to grow in this international environment. Can Owen Farrell take the lead out to 12? No, he's pushed across, and he's had a really underwhelming day with the boot, hasn't he, Owen Farrell? I think he's only got 2 from 6. The gap is 10, but there is not much time for Wales to grab those 2 scores. 4 minutes left, Matt Dawson.
Yeah, I think England have been, very workmanlike all day today. They have stood up and faced Wales's challenge, which has been significant. It has been a little bit for the purists today, for sure. Lots of kicking in the battle, taking your moments. And where Wales took their interception and their moment, England have maybe just had a couple more in this second half.
England with the kick through Alex Mitchell, knocked on though by the onrushing Malins. Scrum Wales, Tom Shanklin, time against the Welsh. 10 points the gap, 3 minutes and 20 seconds remaining.
They've had chances in the second half. They've had territory, they've had possession, but they haven't been able to do much with it. The line out hasn't been great. There's been overthrows, it hasn't been taken cleanly, which has a massive knock-on effect. Most tries are scored from line out, whether it's 3 or 4 phases, 5 or 6 phases down the line. The line out is so important, set piece is so important. And the Welsh line out this year has not been good. I think it's functioning at 75%, which it needs to be in the high 80s. Just some little basic skill errors, but I think England, with the ball in air, that's been a big difference for me. Had the breakdown one as well, but just getting off the ground for the box kicks, the up and unders. They've been getting hands on it, they've been taking it out of the air, they've been winning those 50-50s.
Freddie Stewart just been announced there as Guinness player of the match, and for that very reason, Shanks, you know, I don't think he's put a foot wrong. He may well have spilt one out of 15, and that is in traffic. It's not been down his throat, it's not been on the run. He's had to go and find it. Gives you such confidence when you've got a player like that at the back.
Even if he doesn't take it cleanly, he's so tall and so big that he can get off the ground and get his hand in front of someone else.
10 points in it. Wales 10, England 20. 2 minutes to go, and Wales have to go now. They have to play with any urgency, but Biggar went to the left. Hardy didn't use him. Now Hardy uses Biggar, and that's pretty easy for England to telegraph.
You've got a scrum halfway line, and it's so basic, the attack from Wales there, so predictable.
Hawkins a first receiver. Tommy Raphael up against Ollie Lawrence on the sponsors logo as this game just sort of peters out. We thought we might be in for a grandstand finish with 5 points the gap for most of that second half, but England with that try through Ollie Lawrence took the wind out of Wales' sails, completely nullified this crowd, and Tompkins is perhaps forlornly trying to attack from deep with a minute to go in this game. 10 points the gap. Wales 10, England 20. A fallow week follows, but before that, what a game it could and should be in Paris tomorrow. Commentary on the BBC Sounds app, coverage on the BBC Sport website, all the reaction on Rugby Union Daily live on 5 Live at 8 o'clock tomorrow, Sunday night, after a big day of football with the London Derby, Chelsea, Tottenham, and of course the League Cup final, Manchester United against Newcastle United. Good defence there, Owen Farrell and friends, forces the scrum, and that will be that. Matt Dawson with 30 seconds left. England have a chance to feed the scrum, get it back, kick it out, and get on a Cardiff.
Yeah, what an opportunity for England to actually enjoy the last few moments of a game. Too many times have England had to be fighting their way through the last seconds or being prepared for the crowd to erupt. But as people are now starting to disperse into town, it's England who can soak it all up and enjoy what has been a very, very
Do you agree with this,
solid performance.
Making substitution changes at 79:45,
handing out caps for fun.
I don't get it. Yeah, you earn your caps, you work for your caps. I mean, what the sub's going to do now for 10 seconds?
Yeah, so Marcus Smith is on, so too Jack Walker, and I imagine when Marcus Smith was visualising his game
just
today,
don't get it.
I don't think he envisaged 14 seconds of action.
It's 80 minutes now on the clock.
But England, we can dissect their performance, and we will in the Rugby Union Daily. They'll be out in the next few hours, as we will Wales's. England are going to win, which is the most important thing, as Smith takes it from Slade, and England are going to attack, are they?
At least he's touched the ball.
Yeah, and it's good to see they're not just kicking it out. Arundel, can he get away? Henry Arundel, almost full back inside, but he was bundled out of touch. So England at least had a go, but their attacks snuffled out. It matters not for England, who celebrate. They've won in Cardiff for the first time in 6 years. Not pretty, a scrappy dogfight as we predicted. And Wales in a week where they were on the brink of strike action have put up a game fight but fell short. Two teams trying to work out what they're all about. England, you feel, just that bit further ahead, as the scoreboard indicates. Matt Dawson, England have won here by 20 points to 10.
Yeah, certainly moving in the right direction, England. I can see how they're trying to play. It might not be everybody's cup of tea at the moment. There is a lot of kicking, but you know, when it's accurate kicking, then the chase is right, and you've got people like Malins and Stewart challenging for the ball, you are going to get some scraps. And what England were very good today at was capitalising on entries into the 22. When they looked like they were on a bit of a roll and a trundle in the opposition 22, they were very clinical, and Steve Borthwick will be quite happy about that.
Well, the bigger challenges, they're all huge games in the Six Nations, of course, but England have the two best teams in the tournament to come. France in a fortnight, Ireland on the final day, Wales, they go to Italy in a couple of weeks, then away in France. It's looking bleak for the Welsh But England Chappers have won in Cardiff by 20 points to 10.
And we'll get you some reaction, and then we will go to Bournemouth and bring you the rest of the second half there, where Manchester City lead by 3-0, so they'll cut the gap on Arsenal back to 2. Arsenal earlier winning at Leicester. When you say you could see what England are trying to do, what is that, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, listen, Chappers, they are a forward-oriented side who can win set piece. They can win the breakdown battle. Defensively, they're very well drilled, as we were all expecting with Kevin Sinfield coming in there, which makes life super, super difficult for the opposition when you've just got the white wall across. What was... I suppose the pattern that I'm starting to see with this England side are those key individuals who are taking the ball up to the line. Your Genge, your Sinclair and Chesham, your Willis, those types of Ludlam, those types of players. But then the backs are starting to regenerate a little bit wider and are creating a threat to either bust through or to use the hands to those wider channels of Stewart and the wingers. Now, you know, I'm talking, there's a lot of words there and there's a lot of explanation, but there's a lot of attack to take on. If you're the defensive team, you've got to mark an awful lot of options, and that's what I'm seeing from England. Rather than being very predictable, they're starting to create more options in attack, which therefore is difficult to defend.
And therefore, if there are if there are more options in attack, Tom, and they are trying different things, and it is more difficult to defend. One, there are going to be errors from England in that, aren't they? As they try these things, as they get used to this plan. And secondly, therefore, it is going to be hard for a Wales side to defend against them.
Yeah, it is. They were very clinical off one scrum where they scored the try from Anthony Watson. They broke through. They're not over expansive at the moment, but they have got the players to do it if they choose to. Like Ollie Lawrence for Bath has been a massive change to them, and they can play wider. But at the moment, they're taking on each team as they see fit to win. They could have played more expansive against Italy. They didn't. They ground out a win. They did the same against Wales today. They didn't try and overplay. Their kicking game was really good. They're really good at retrieving the ball back. So I think on a positive note for England is they're doing what they need to win without it being overcomplicated or that flashy. But it won't always work like that. You know, they have to play differently for the bigger teams, the more physical teams. But at the moment, it is working.
And therefore, they will pick the wrong option from time to time, Matt. I mean, I think of that 3-on-2 overload in the second half, which may have been one of the more basic ones.
Yeah, there is. In amongst all of what Tom and I have talked about there were some sort of glaring mistakes, which in a way is quite good. You want to have something to look at on when you're doing the analysis, to think, do you know what, we've maybe been practicing this for a little bit of time. Maybe it's time to shift. Maybe it's time to change, because when you're coming up against France, when you're coming up against Ireland, I can tell you right now that opportunity on the right-hand side, when it's a 3-on-2 at best, you have to take that opportunity, because you might get 3 chances against those sides, and you've got to make 2 of them, or you're not winning the game.
Freddie Stewart won player of the match. We can hear from him now with Sonia McLaughlin.
Look, Freddie, the last time you were here, you were a 16-year-old in the crowd watching Elliot Daly get a win for England. What's it like to be back here playing and man of the match?
We had a stadium run yesterday, and I looked straight over that corner, which is where I was sat as a 16-year-old, and you know, watching that day, to then be able to come out here and actually be involved in it and playing is just really special.
In commentary, Jonathan Davies said that you are the best player in the world under the high ball. What do you think when you hear that?
It's amazing, especially from a guy like Jonathan Davies, you know, who's done it all. That's amazing to hear. I thank him for that.
Is that your ambition, to be that? Because you're only 22 and already you are to the manner born in that 15 jersey.
Definitely. You always aim to be the best in the world. That's the one thing that I think every rugby player wants to aspire to. So for me, it's setting myself those little challenges and those stepping stones to try and get there.
Yeah, and just one little revealing moment from you in the first half. What was it like revealing your glutes to 80,000 in Cardiff?
I sort of turned around, I felt them go down, and I heard a big roar from behind me. I thought, gee, just carry, next job. Try not to think about it.
You carried it off with aplomb. You are the Guinness Man of the match. Many congratulations to you, Freddie.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Freddie Stewart with Sonia McLaughlin. I was going to say, Tom, if you engage in a kicking battle with England are going to have the advantage because of Freddie Stewart, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. He's really safe. He's such a big bloke, so tall as well, so he can get off the ground. He's a lot taller than most of the backs as well, so he has that height advantage. And England's kicking game was a lot better than Wales's today. There was a lot of kicking in this game, as we thought there would be, with Farrell at 10 and the way Wales are playing at the moment, but they just dominated the airs. And it's not just him. Max Maidens was really good under the ball as well, just getting off the ground. Whether you get a hand to it or not, just do something. And they just dominated the air, so that meant they got more ball, more possession, and they scored more tries at the end of the day. Wales, they had more pressure on Wales, and I'm quite disappointed with Wales's performance. Yes, it was spirited, but they just didn't look a threat. They didn't have any attacking options. They played far too direct, and they played right into England's hands of a big back row.
I'm going to expand on that with you in just a moment, but it's just got worse for Bournemouth. John Akers.
This is a statement performance from Manchester City. Bournemouth 0, Manchester City 4. We've only played 6 minutes of the second half. This is going to go down as a Chris Mepham own goal. It was Alvarez with the shot on the angle, about 12 yards out. I could see, I was right behind it. It was heading wide. Mepham went to clear it. It went in off him, and Manchester City are 4-0 up and purring here.
Let's expand on the Wales performance. Before we do that, with Tom and Matt and Chris, we can hear from the captain, Ken Owens.
Well, Ken, you've ultimately fallen short here, but look, given the week you've had, is there a sense of pride that you've made England fight for that win here?
Yeah, we spoke about the emotion of the last 2 weeks, and we gave them massive effort for 80 minutes. We were right in the game throughout. If we look back, we probably left a couple of opportunities out there. But I can't question the effort of this squad. We're in a bit of a rebuilding phase. We got to rebuild pretty quick. But the 23 who went out there today put in a massive shift. Some young boys have an opportunity again. Mason Grady, first cap. When we fronted up defensively, I thought we were a lot better. Discipline was a lot better. We stuck to our game plan, but came up short.
Yeah, came out of the blocks after the break. Louis Rees-Zammit got the intercept try. Look, what were you saying to each other there? You were banging the game.
I think it was just trusting the process. We were in the first half. We probably soaked up a little bit too much pressure towards the end of the first half. I thought we got on top and turned the ball over 3 or 4 times close to their line, and then. First half was all about getting off the line defensively. Our first 2 defensive sets, we got to try, turn the ball over. Unfortunately, we gave a pen, but we started that half well, and we stuck to what we spoke about.
Has the week taken its toll?
Yeah, the last 2 weeks obviously have, for a number of different reasons. We can't use that as an excuse. A lot of things have gone on. A decision was made. We've drawn a line in the sand, and like I said in the week, Welsh rugby's got to work together as a whole. Every stakeholder, we've got to come together and improve.
I really appreciate your time. Thank you, Ken.
Diolch yn fawr iawn.
Ken Owens with Sonia McLaughlin. When they had some opportunities, they let England back into it, though, didn't they, Tom?
Yeah, they did. As Ken mentioned in that interview, that England were under pressure towards the end of that first half, and there was 2 big turnovers, 5 metres out, which just were huge for England. And these are the opportunities that Wales have got to take. They've got a really poor ratio, chappers, of when they get into opposition 22 of not converting that into points. They need to score more tries. That's another issue we've got. They've only scored 1 try per game in these first 3 games. You've got to be scoring more points than that. You've got to be scoring more tries than that to be within games. And the line-out hasn't functioned well either. So it's just not functional. I think tactically, Ken said there that, look, the attitude was fine. The attitude was great. They didn't give up from 0 to 80 minutes. But I think tactically they got it a little bit wrong. I think they tried to play too tight. The game opened up when they played a little bit wider in those wider channels, whether it was Tipperick or Taulupe Faletau, hitting those angles in the wide channels, or Megson Grady taking an outside break. But when they went away from that, when they started to go short and closer to England's back row, they came unstuck because forwards coming around the corner on that second or third phase were just getting knocked back. Then they'd lose a ball, and then they'd lose territory and possession.
Tom, thank you this evening. I know you've got to go. Tom Shanklin with us on 5 Live Sport. Ken Owens, Chris Jones sounded like a man who needs some R&R to me. Hello?
Just getting my mic on,
right.
sorry, yeah. Needs a quiet week now, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Wales have a fallow week, as everyone does. You just hope that the things that weren't solved in the week, because they're bigger issues, they're going to take years to solve, don't rear up again over the next few weeks, and Wales can just concentrate on playing. But yeah, as we thought, it was a Wales side that on and off the pitch are struggling. Off it, it's well documented, but on it as well, they're looking devoid of direction and an identity. And you could argue as two average sides going at it today in England, that bit better and got the job done. But you're right, I think everyone, Ken Owens probably at the front of the queue, needs a bit of chill time now.
And that was my final thing to you, Matt, really. I think you may have said workmanlike at one stage. Chris described it as scrappy as well at one stage. But that was to be expected, really, wasn't it, where both sides are at the moment?
Yeah, of course, and 3 games into Steve Borthwick's regime, thrust in with 40 days of preparation in total. Listen, I'm going to say that Borthwick is going to go home tonight and think, we're on to something here. We are making progress. Let's not lose sight of a win in Cardiff is a big deal for England. It's a huge deal. It might not show fantastic style and panache and pleasure for all the audience, but you've got that in your locker, that you can go to the Dragons' lair and win. You can play away from home. You can win those scrappy games. It's all in the locker for the very near future when they've got to go to France.
Thank you both. Enjoy your night. I'm sure you'll find some more hotel lobbies. Chris, thank you.
I'm driving home, Chavez. Don't look at me.
Chris Jones, Matt Dawson, Tom Shanklin at Cardiff. And then tomorrow, of course, we've got Scotland and France. Earlier, of course, Ireland beat Italy. We'll have more reaction throughout the evening and on the Rugby Union Daily podcast.